Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsay Huddles from SPS back in the building with another SPS Monday Motivation. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a good weekend. If you saw my social media post, I was chilling with my daughter, Madeline. We were hanging out. Always a good thing being with my sweetheart, and she's growing up. Eighth grade around the corner. Woo, boy, don't stop. Those parents out there know how it goes. And that kind of got me in the mindset as we prepare to transition for back to school. Yes, I said it. Yes, I'm saying summer is winding up, winding down. Shout out to the Henry Ford Trojans. We're going to have our alumni weekend this upcoming weekend. I know a lot of other schools have been celebrating. And it's not to make you feel bad because summer is wrapping up, but it's also to give you the mindset that, hey, summer is more, a little bit, sometimes a little bit more casual. Summer transition requires us to kind of get refocused a little bit. The winter is coming. I hate to say it like that, but those are the times we want to get back on our goals. And what a great time to talk about what? The power of no. Right. That's what our Monday motivation is about. This thought hit me as I was relaxing this weekend. And just want to say, saying no isn't negative, it's necessary. Saying no isn't negative, it's necessary. It's important that we understand that, right? Who we got this morning? Let me guess. It's Michelle Mimi Watkins, of greatest of all time. So good to see Michelle. We're talking about the power of no and how it's necessary, and we have to remind ourselves of that and not get caught up and lose sight of what we're working on and what we're focused on, especially as we get ready to transition. You got those lovely athletes that you're already working with and helping as they get ready to get back in school and get ready to get on the grind, whether it's a freshman starting high school or it's a senior getting ready to wrap up. Saying no is very important. As I said, saying no isn't negative, it's necessary. Let's talk about this myth of being nice. This myth of being nice. Too many people equate saying yes with being kind and agreeable. And on the surface, it sounds like that. Say, oh, nice person. I'll go ask so and so. They'll do it. They equate saying yes with being kind and agreeable. But when you take a deeper look at it, chronic yes, I mean, all the time, just yes, 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 yes. Saying that often leads to burnout, resentment, and regret. You get stuck holding the bag because people will get to the point where they just assume and take you for granted. Lindsay will say yes, and I'm just using my name as an example. Michelle will say yes. I got a feeling Michelle ain't gonna be yes for you all the time. It'd be yes when you can, right? But I say that as a courtesy and out of respect. But I think it's important to understand that from a psychological standpoint, pleasing people is linked to a fear of rejection or abandonment, not true kindness. Sometimes we just say yes because we want people to like us. We want people to want to be able to engage us, but it's not really true kindness because you'll turn around and say yes and you'll be mad about it. Damn, I'm saying yes to them. They came asking me for that again. So James Lewis in the building. Good morning, brother. How you doing, Jay Lewis? Always good to see you, brother. Jay, you ain't had no problem saying no. Hey, I remember years ago, this go crack you out. Years ago, we had just crossed. It's my alpha brother right here, representing Eastern Michigan. I think we were all down at the Step Show down at Hart Plaza, right? That's a throwback, right? And it was hundreds of bros, but it was a bunch of us around. You came in, you had your sandwich, whatever you was eating. He's like, I ain't about to grip all y'all. He's like the power of no. And I love you for that because it was like, look, I ain't about to be people pleasing, walking around and doing all that. But the love was there though, right? Got Kevin Marshall singing, good morning, brother. Good morning, brother. It has been a minute. Hope you're doing well. Hope family is doing well. Glad to have you back on, checking in. Kevin Marshall, Senior representing. Also, Michelle Mimi Walker said, I had to learn to say no without guilt. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. That's important because that guilt gets to weighing on us. Because you talk about people like James Lewis, Kevin Marshall, Michelle Mimi Watkins that are so well known in their community, so liked, and so many people can reach out that it can get to that point, right, where it can weigh on you like that. So too many people equate saying yes with being kind or agreeable, but we talked about what that chronic this does. So let's talk about the freedom and no. The freedom that comes with that, right? Jay Lou is laughing. He's dying, right? He's dying. Right. Hey, I feel you. Brother, that stayed with me. You probably don't even remember that. I was like, you know what? That's a good point. I got to grip all these dudes. Ain't nothing but love. It was a bunch of us, too. Dwayne Whitley, good motivational Monday. Good, brother. I appreciate that, Dwayne, man. Hope you're doing okay. Shout out to McKinney, Crew, Taft, and beyond, man. We talking about the freedom of no, right, guys? Check this out. Every no is a yes to something else. They talk about if you're in the cold call world, that every no leads you to a yes, but you got to keep that in mind. Every no is a yes to something else as well. Got Patricia England. Good morning, mother. She says, good morning, son. How are you today? I'm up here feeling good. Get it in. Talk about the power of no. You had no problem telling me no growing up. I knew that. Maybe I learned that lesson early. I said that with nothing but love. But every no, mother, as you know, is a yes to something else. Is yes to what? Your peace. Yes to your purpose. Yes to your priorities. I'll go in reverse order. If you keep saying yes to everybody else, you can't get done what you're supposed to get done, and you sitting there looking stupid, and then you mad. That goes back to that resentment that we talked about, right? Because you trying to get something going, and you mad because you can't get your priorities done. But what about your purpose? You have the right to sit still for a moment and not be respond to everybody's beck and call. That's like the person in the crew that got the flatbed truck. Call you every weekend. Hey, man, can you help me this? Can you help me do that? Don't want to put in on nothing. Don't got nothing for you, man. No brews, no pizza, nothing like that, right? But then also your peace of mind. Why you got to be caught up in everybody else's situation? Why you got to be responsible for everybody else? And they just come in and leaning on you, maybe because they see some level of prosperity, some level of achievement, some level of you having something. They want to reach out and do that. So check this out. I'll leave you with this one. Saying no isn't selfish, it's self-respect. Ooh. Mimi Watkins talked about that being guilt earlier, that guilt you have. But no, saying no, it's not selfish, it's self-respect. Because there's a reason why I'm saying no. Because I'm not just saying no for the hell of it. There's a reason why. It may be because of priorities, because of purpose, because of my peace, or whatever it may be. There's a reason why. Patricia England says, I never said no to you, son. No, well, people know, yeah, with the big laugh emojis, right? Right. But hey, it helped me get to where I was now. I don't even think you had to say no. I already knew. Wasn't no because I knew. Right? Brain power behind no. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the prefrontal cortex, right? Your decision-making center. It helps you regulate impulses and make thoughtful choices. That's where that process goes on. When somebody poses a question to you, you got to decide how you want to respond and what you want to do. Got Kevin Marshall Sr. He says, yes, love that peace of mind. You got to have it, man. I know you know it's important, especially you got other priorities in your life and people coming at you all kind of ways. But we talk about that prefrontal cortex. Practicing no strengthens your mental clarity and your emotional boundaries. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Practicing no, it strengthens your mental clarity. That's a healthy thing. And your emotional boundaries. Because, see, you're going to be better suited to be able to say no and back people off of things. Because the worst thing is to say yes to something that's going to leave you feeling, depleted. Say yes to something that's going to bring a level of stress to you that you take it into your world. Saying yes to something that's going to just have you kind of overwhelmed and stressing, right? We got Jimmy Macon. Coach Jimmy Macon just celebrated 60 years of traveling around the sun. Good brother. Good morning to you, man. How you doing, Coach? Hey, congratulations. Happy belated birthday. I saw that, man. You were sharp, always representing. And we talk about this. Again, the more you say no intentionally, the easier it gets. An intentional no. Not just flipping off the court. No, intentional, like, no, I'm not going to do that. The easier it's going to get. It's kind of like pushing up the hill. And once you get to the top, you'll start rolling down and you'll get going. Got a lot of good response. Got Reggie White representing. This is valuable. Keep going, bro. I will. Reggie, what's good, man? Representing from McKinney all the way down Vaughn Street, Pembroke. I can still see your lovely home on the corner, you and your family, man. I hope all is well, brother. Thanks for checking in. Yes, we will keep going. Check this out. I got one for you. No is a full sentence. Shortest sentence in the world. Shortest sentence in the history of mankind. But it is a full and complete sentence. Check this out. You do not have to, you don't owe anyone an excuse, an apology, a long explanation. Because you know what you got to get used to, folks? The pregnant pause, that uncomfortable pause. See, what we do as humans, we always try to fill the space with banter. No, I can't do it. And they sitting there waiting, trying to play you, and you like, you got to fill the air. It's a complete sentence. You already said what you had to say. Practice it. Go get it. Practice while you're driving in the car. Because it's somebody you want to say no to today. It's somebody you want to say no to within the next 15, 20 minutes, right? It's somebody you want to say no to. And it's not out of this desire to be mean and nasty, but it's to protect your peace and keep things going, right? But no is a full sentence, my people. No, thank you. I extend the sentence a little bit. No, that doesn't work for me. It don't work for me. So you mean to tell me I can say this to somebody and you're going to still tell me why it does or try to convince me. And that's the part you got to be ready for. Michelle talked about that earlier, that guilt, where they're going to bring all these things. Because they may have a couple steps to try to take you, but stand on it. And you don't have to feel the time with words to be able to respond back. My brother Jimmy Macon says, no is a complete sentence and answer. You got your answer, coach. I see. You got your answer, right? Got J. Lou dropping something on me, too. J. Lou says, many of us are raising middle-class kids. Okay, come on. Let's talk about it. What we've achieved allows many of us the opportunity to say yes to many of their requests. That's right, because we didn't came a long way. But kids need to get used to handling their feelings of no and rejection, because the world will give them a lot of no's. You're absolutely right. What we try to do is do what we felt our parents didn't do. And I say this with my mother on the line. My mother, let her cape blow in the wind because she's a superwoman. But then as we get more into this society that wants to accumulate things and see things and say things. Hell, my daughter wanted a horse. And I go back further. When she wanted a horse to be able to bring in the house. She meant it. She's like, Daddy, can I bring the horse in the house? So let's talk about that. You got to be able to say no. And again, to Michelle, she set it off early on, say it with no guilt, because to Jay Lee's point, we're raising these kids to be able to do things and make things happen. And then you talk about the intergenerational part that you, along with grandparents, being able to work together. It's so much we can provide for the kids, but are we really helping them? So for the power we're doing that, that's a very important point, Jay Lee. I appreciate you being on and sharing, man. Also, those are complete responses, just like Brother Macon said, right? Protecting your energy. We do so much for so many other people, but do we protect our own energy? When you say yes out of guilt, you give away your time and peace. That's what Michelle was struggling with, because she was giving that yes away and not saying no, but she was trading her time and her peace, right? Let's talk about your time. Hey, man, can you go do this? No, I don't have time for that. I got stuff I got to take care of. Right? For real. Oh man, you don't worry about that. And maybe me not doing nothing is what I need. That's time to be used for myself also. And when you say no with confidence, you take control of your narrative. You back in control again. You shut them down, right? And I'm not saying this to be mean or nasty, but you're trying to get something accomplished too, right? You get back in control of your narrative. You're not just running with what they got and what they on, right? So what we're going to try this week, I'll give you this example. I don't have to set myself on fire to keep others warm. I don't have to set myself on fire to keep others warm. You don't got to do all that running and jostling around, all them backflips to keep somebody else going. Hey, I ain't mad at you. I can help you if I can, but no might have to be the answer, and that's it, right? So also, this week, what you want to check out is what drains you, what distracts you, what doesn't align with your goals. That's what you're going to say no to. If that distracts you from what you need to do, if you're trying to go right and that's making you go left, if it doesn't align with what your goals are, with what you're working on, what got you up this morning inspired, right? You don't have to do it. Hey, I use my platform, for example. I mean, a lot of people want to sit down on SPS Row and do interviews. That's cool, but that's not the goals that I have for what I got going. And I got the right to say no. That's just a small example. People won't get it, but they'll be okay. We're not going to end. Kevin Marshall comes on and says, this is true ever since I said no more coaching my life. No more coaching. My life has changed for the better. And I see it clearly now. You had to make time for yourself. You had to be able to say no to that, because they're going to be quick to want to call Coach Marshall to come in, and you had to make time for other things. My mother says no teaches people how to approach you in the future. Oh, they get together real quick, right? That no, tighten them up real quick, fast. So that's what we got. And the last thing I want to say, we talked about that. When you say no to things, you say yes to your own growth, balance, and your self-worth. Those are things that are important. Well, let me say, as I get ready to wrap this up, it's been great seeing everybody, catching up with everybody. And as Nancy Reagan would say, just say no. Just say no, right? That's when they come back and play. Just say no. You need to see it one more time? No, that's what I'm talking about. It's okay to say no. It's okay to focus on your priorities. It's okay to not feel guilty when you do it. And finally, got Kevin Marshall hitting us with the amen. Couldn't be any better. So with that, I want to wish you guys a great, great week, a great month, a great year, and a great life. And thank you for supporting Lindsay House and the SPS. Go keep it going. And with that said, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.